Azt mondja, kinyitjuk itt a linket szépen, mert most itt befejeztem, amit csináltam, és nekiállunk olvasni. The Delirium Challenge League. Challenge Leagues are a great opportunity for a fresh start in a new economy. All of your old characters and items are still present in Standard and Hardcore Leagues, but you're encouraged to join the new league, complete challenges, and demonstrate your mastery of Path of Exile. You'll encounter the Mirror of Delirium in each area of the Delirium Challenge League. Upon touching the mirror, your reality will turn to mist, and your nightmares will manifest inside the delirium. So, upon touching the mirror, your reality will turn to mist, and your nightmares will manifest. Inside the delirium, deadly new monsters appear, and existing foes become more dangerous. Pushing deeper into the delirium will intensify its danger and grant even more rewards. Among the spoils, you may find cluster jewels. These new jewels are exclusively available from Delirium content and can only be socketed in the outer rim of your passive tree. Socketing one of these jewels will expand your tree to reveal brand new passive skills and notables, if you're lucky, even new keystones. Like other items in Path of Exile, cluster jewels can be crafted to modify their properties. You may also acquire Delirium Orbs from high-level Delirium encounters. Delirium Orbs can be applied to maps, shrouding the whole map area in dangerous delirium. You'll also find Delirium Splinters, which can be combined to gain access to the Simulacrum. It's in the Simulacrum that you'll find Delirium's hardest and most rewarding fights. A Simulacrum az nem a szintézis ligának volt az areája?
Nem, a Simulacrum az izé volt, a memory valami volt.
With 3.10.0, there are standard, hardcore, and solo self-found variations of the Delirium Challenge League available. They will have the same core mechanics and items. You can create a private league version of these leagues with mods that make the game harder. Wonderful, who could have guessed? 14 new challenges, blah blah blah, szerintem átugorhatjuk, mert semmi
Persze.
új nincs. Major new content and features. Added a new intelligence skill gem. Arcane Cloak. Consumes a portion of your mana to gain a buff that can take a percent of damage from hits for you before being depleted. While the buff is active, you gain additional lightning damage based on the amount of mana consumed as part of the skill's effect. Shares a cooldown with other guard skills. Added a new intelligence skill gem, Storebind. Place a runic pattern on the ground which grows as you channel. The runes slow enemies that travel across them and deal damage in a circle when detonated by the Rune Blast skill. Rune Blast can be channeled to upgrade the placed runes. When Rune Blast is released, the runes will detonate. I think we saw in the video that they also teleport you, or is that a new channel support skill? I don't know. Added a new intelligence skill gem, Kinetic Bolt. Fire a wand attack that changes direction and releases additional projectiles at irregular intervals.
Azt láttuk? Ez volt az a X-es?
Igen. Added a new dexterity skill gem, Blade Blast. Detonate a blade at your targeted location. This detonation will spread to blades left by ethereal knives, blade vortex, and blade fall. Added, sorry, I zoomed in and I can't see dick. So, added a new intelligence skill gem, Spellslinger. While active, reserves mana for each linked spell and will cause those spells to trigger at the end of your attacks while wielding a wand. Added a new intelligence support gem, Arcmage Support. Adds lightning damage to supported skills and changes their cost to a percentage of your unreserved mana. Adding a portion of the new cost has added lightning damage. Added a new Dexterity Int support gem, Second Wind Support. Adds an additional cooldown to supported skills and grants those skills increased cooldown recovery rate. Added Cluster Jewels. A new type of jewel which can be socketed into the outer rim of the passive tree, adding a new passive skill options. These can only be obtained via Delirium content and come in 3 different varieties. Large cluster jewels at higher item levels, have medium sockets in them, which can hold medium cluster jewels. Medium cluster jewels can have small sockets in them, which can hold small cluster jewels. Allocating passives on these jewels work just like allocating normal passives. If you want to refund passives allocated on these jewels, you only have to pay 1 refund point for the entire jewel. Note that you will have to refund all passives on a jewel if you wish to remove the jewel from the tree. So this is interesting because this basically tells you that you can only ever have 3 different clusters added to your tree, so you can't chain them to infinity.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Added the Simulacrum, an endgame encounter accessible by collecting Simulacrum splinters from Delirium encounters. Take on a sequence of increasingly difficult fights for better and better rewards. How long can you last? Added 16 new unique items, included 1 designed by our supporters. Added 8 new divination cards, designed by our supporters. Added a new type of currency, Delirium Orbs, we read about this earlier. Added 2 new Rogue Exiles, with input from our talent competition winners.
Egyébként azt hiszem volt valami olyasmi, hogy large clustereket csak kívülre tudsz rakni.
Nem. Úgy unblock az összes clustert, ott írja, hogy can be socketed into the outer akármi. Viszont ugye az, hogy tehát egy chainen belül mindegyiket, tehát hogy nem tudod az Infinite-be scale-elni, viszont például, hogyha belerakod az Acro fölötti Jewel Socketba egy 3-ast és abból végigviszed, meg hogyha fölmész a CI mellé a 3-asba, belerakod abba a 3-ast és végigviszed, azt lehet, tehát lehet bent több fullos cluster, csak egy clustert nem vihetsz az végtelenségbe.
Minor new content and features. Made significant improvements to the number of spected monsters. Many monsters that couldn't be spected previously now can, and many that previously only used their melee attacks in Unlife will now use whatever special skills they had in life. Several specters that were dealing damage far above others have been toned down. We're looking at you, Atlas Influence Monster. Improve the appearance of Shocked, Burning, Caustic, and Chilled Ground. Again? Uh-oh! Added a stash to enhance memory.
Hát the appearance, attól még a performance még mindig szar, na mindegy, igen.
Igen, de legutóbb, amikor megváltoztatták, akkor 10-szer szarabb lett, nem tudom, emlékszem.
Igen.
Added a stash to enhance menagerie. You did it, Reddit. Added 9 Grandmasters to the Hall of Grandmasters, and they replaced 7 others. Added 3D art for the Rotting Legion.
A pog.
Arctic Breath, Caustic Arrow, Frostblades, Ice Nova, Molten Shell, Molten Strike, and Scorching Ray have had visual upgrades. Prey Zombies now use animations we've created for Path of Exile 2. Cremation's projectile impact area of effect is now more clearly portrayed visually.
Cremation az melyik is?
Hát a geyser.
Which explodes a corpse and looks like a volcano. It was used for a single target at some point.
Yeah.
You can once again sell 3 sextants of the same tier to a vendor for sextants of 1 tier higher.
Az kurva ragás.
Added an option to have your portal appearance randomly selected from all owned portal microtransactions. This applies not only to your portal to town, but to your map device. In fact, you can have all 6 map device portals randomly selected, or have it randomly select one appearance for all 6 portals.
Ez tök jó szerintem.
Nem tudom.
Hát nekem... szükségtelen, de így kurva jó, mert van 30 darab a portálom, aztán Jesus take the wheel.
Hát úgy vagyok arra az, hogy nekem a hideoutom az a portálomhoz van szinergiáma.
Én nekem meg kb. Nem tudom, Legacy, ez a portál, mert úgy néz ki, mint az OG, csak így mégis egy tehát hogy a Snob OG portál.
Snob.
Konkrétan.
Added the capacity to raise hundreds of new monsters as specters, including those found from Atlas influence and from League content such as Breach. Breach specters, boys. Added a background frame cap option. This will limit the frame rate of Path of Exile when it's not in the current focus. Unique synthesis maps and unique watchstones can now have slots in the unique stash tab. You will no longer be ambushed by betrayal interventionists or by Atlas influence monsters while looking at your betrayal board, the incursion temple panel, the metamorph panel, the anointment panel, or talking to an NPC.
Ez mit jelent?
Hát, hogy amikor interaktolsz a betrayal-lel, vagy interaktolsz bármilyen panellal, aközben nem aktiválódhat az incursion.
Meg?
Úgy, hogy így konkrétan, így effektíve, nem tudom, az ő dolgok, és meg kellett volna geci régen csinálni.
Azért hátszín az érdekes, tehát hogy...
Changed our anti-aliasing technique from MSAA to SMAA. That's a 1-letter swap, by the way. Improved the engine multi-threading and added support for 16 logical cores.
We are slightly dyslexic, ugye? Ez amúgy kurva jó, mert akkor nekem most most működik a kis 2600X-embe, akkor van 16 core support, így akár partiban már lehet 20 FPS-em, és a gacsi pogiz. Tehát, hogy így...
Added support for 16 logical cores, previously 8. Meaning, Path of Exile can better utilize high-end CPUs now. Ryzen 2, looking at you. Charged, enriched, and pure breach stones now each have their own unique art.
No. Pog.
Added a new item filter drop-down effect color.
Added new item filter drop
effect color options. They made a typo. It's a new. Oh no, I just can't read. Added an arrow shatter effect for arrows that neither bounce off a surface nor stick. Improved the audio of all war cries. Improved the performance of all elements of... What?
Az annyira akkor ezek szerint nem volt megoldás az, ugye azt csinálták, hogy valami lepattal a falról, és elméletileg izé miatt csinálták a performance miatt. Akkor nem jött be.
De nem, az teljesen mindegy, csak akkor csak így eltűntek, és nem volt effektje. Most meg így el fog placsanni az arról, az a falon meg el fog törni, meg ilyen. Ez csak a visual effect, tehát semmi extra.
Improve the performance of all ailment effects on players and monsters. Continue to incrementally improve the sound, art, effects, and environments. Alright, let's get into the meat of it. Atlas changes. Since launching the Conquerors of the Atlas, we've received a lot of great feedback about how the new Atlas of Worlds can be improved. We've made a number of improvements and will continue to do so. Conqueror presence and their influence mechanics are now spawned deterministically, with progress between each influence map tracked on the Atlas itself. You can now see this on the left-hand side of the Atlas panel connected to the Watchstone inventory. So the left-hand side, do not confuse this with the right-hand side. As Path of Exile.
The other left-hand side.
Your other hand. The chance for a conqueror to occupy an Atlas region is now 50% from 33% if the conditions are met. Conquerors will now sometimes grant buffs to map bosses in their region. Improvements have been made to how progress through the Conquerors of the Atlas quests are tracked. It should be significantly easier to see what your next steps are.
Mit jelent az, hogy buffokat ad a mapmozra? Olyan, mint hogyha ilyen shaper, meg
hát olyan, mint amikor régen megszállta a shaper a mapbost, igen.
You can now clearly see which watchstones have sections applied to them when they are in the watchstone inventory. Wonderful. Added a short watchstone tutorial which takes you through how to use and store your watchstones. The awakening level of your Atlas is now the number of watchstones you have socketed divided by 4 and rounded down. In other words, you will gain awakening levels gradually, rather than only when you fill a watchstone altar. If you fail to defeat a conqueror, you will no longer get additional monster packs or influence items from their influence region until you do defeat them. So
ez volt a
Hawks, igen.
Yeah, you can no longer do the farming strategy.
You can no longer do the infinite influence.
Exactly. Improve the visibility of active conqueror citadels on your Atlas. Bonuses for completing.
Disco.
I hear they've adopted RGB technology because it's very in with gamers right now, so that it will flash in all kinds of colors. Anyways, bonuses for completing Atlas objectives. Atlas bonus objectives and Awakening bonus objectives have changed. You will no longer gain additional chains for map drops from one tier higher from Awakening bonus objectives. This is very sad. The base chance to gain an Atlas mission upon map completion is now 35% from 40%. This is very sad. You will now gain 1% chance to gain an Atlas mission upon map completion per 15 maps in the Awakening bonus objective complete. With the Awakening bonus objective complete. You will now gain a 1% increased map mod effect for 6 maps with the Awakening bonus objective complete. How many maps are there in the Atlas right now?
156.
So 156 divided by 15.
56?
Yeah. So you have what? So you have
154.
10, yeah, you have 5% more chance to get master missions when your Atlas is completed from before, and you have
25-ish. 25.
Yeah, exactly 25. Percent map mod effect. A number of changes have been made to Cirrus, not Sirius, Cirrus, Awakener of Worlds fight. Cirrus's apparition is now more active during the arena phases. Cirrus now heals to 75% of his maximum health at the start of his final phase at Awakening level 8 from 50%. This is a buff.
Doesn't matter.
Cirrus now teleports away from the player before using his corridor skill. He takes 80% less damage during the corridor skill, and the projectile he fires now pierces all non-player targets. Fucking awesome.
Az mit jelent?
Hát, azt, hogy nem tudod kisízelni a totemkével meg ilyenekkel.
The rotating quad beam ability now has larger beams and applies a new debuff which reduces your action speed and causes you to take increased damage. Alright, we've made changes to several section modifiers that were overly rewarding. The unidentified map section modifier now grants 20, 25, or 30 increased quantity of items found based on section tier from 25, 30, and 35. And 9, 12, 15% increased monster pack size. Holy shit, I can't read. Monster pack size based on section tier. 20 from 20 and 15, 18.
Ez szinte semmi.
So azt, hogy ezt ők hogy számolták ki? Hogy ez a 3%, ez a pack size az olyan nagy lesz. Jó estét, hello.
Az 5% kvant.
The section modifier that granted additional monster packs and increased the damage you take from now grant 468 additional packs instead of 6810. Section modifier that populated maps with barrels now grants 15, 25, 35 from 20, 30, 40.
Overly rewarding, azt levesznek 5 hordót.
Yes.
Amiket én elrollottam, mert az robbanós hordó az megölt.
Metamorph mechanics added to the core game. I find this a mistake, but whatever. Metamorph and Tin can now be found once you reach maps. Each map has a 10% chance to be populated with monsters who can drop Metamorph parts. Tin will appear in your hideout once you have completed his Pound of Flesh quest. He will no longer appear in towns, misanthrope that he is. Wow, asshole. You can now find Metamorph scabs from various sources. Each scab guarantees Metamorph monsters will appear in an area with higher tiered scabs, causing map bosses to drop additional Metamorph parts. Added a section modifier which will also cause maps in the associated Atlas region to gain Metamorph monsters, made a number of improvements to specific Metamorph behavior situations. For example, Metamorph with only range skills will now still attempt to move closer to the player, whereas previously they would stand in place. The maximum power effect on the bar to the right of the Metamorph panel no longer plays if it's impossible for the fight to drop an itemized organ. What? So they basically
az, hogyha low levelen csinálod és nem tudod megtölteni az oldalába ezeket, akkor le is fogja szarni, tehát csak akkor fogod látni az oldalába a slötyköt töltődni, hogyha fel is tudod tölteni.
Technikailag
adtak a szarnak ez a pofont nem releváns.
Azt vártam, hogy több orkant adjon.
The reward box when the Metamorph will drop an itemized organ. They still didn't fix the biggest issue with this mechanic where instead of icons they should just have text or something to represent what it will drop, because oftentimes you'll see the unique armor, you think it will drop a unique item, but it's actually a unique 6-linked item, and you pass up a 6-linked item because you're fucked.
Meg a másik az, hogy még mindig csak egy szervet fog adni. 10% eséllyel.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Endgame Val side area improvements. Words. Val side areas found in maps and those created by placing individual Val fragments in the map device now count as map areas for the purpose of map drops and other mechanics which interacts with map areas, finally. They now generate as rare areas, meaning they will always have 4 to 6 modifiers on their area. Val side areas open via placing an individual fragment in the map device are now 1 level higher across the board. The values on these area modifiers are now similar to those found in maps of a similar level. Added many new mods that can appear on Velside areas, including several that can influence the items and rewards found in those areas. It will be worth running these, I think. Yep. Elemental and physical damage reflection modifiers can no longer appear for these areas. Finally.
Yeah. Tehát, hogy ez konkrétan így a legeslegjobb change.
Yes. Increase the number of monsters found in all map level Valside areas. Monsters normally found in incursion encounters will now also be found in Valside areas. That's going to be great when you port in and you have the vacuums all over, and they just instantly shoot you.
De az izé megszedett az ajtót, a Valside Directnek az ajtajában nagyon-nagyon ritkán van mob. Tehát, hogy az én nem tartom feltétlen problémának.
Side area bosses now have life balls similar to other unique monsters found in maps. Pretty neat. Character balance. Modifiers to melee weapon and unarmed attack range are now described plus X to melee strike range. The functionality hasn't changed. That weapons that describe their range still refer to weapon range. Increases and reductions to reflected damage taken, such as the Saxon modifier or the Ugol God Power, now also affect your minions.
Na, az buff.
Wow. Az basszó.
This is a buff. One attack projectiles are now considered larger for the purposes of collision detection against monsters. This is a buff.
The tick shotok.
Elusive Fat Ones is now an actual character. Elusive now grants 30% increased movement speed from 40%, 15% to 50% chance to dodge attacks from 20%, and 50% chance to dodge spells from 20%. This is a nerf. There is now a hard upper limit of 75% chance to avoid damage from hits, such as the fire damage avoidance found on Glitter Disc. This is a nerf. Scorch and Brittle, alternate ailments for fire and cold respectively, have had both their maximum effects raised. Scorch reduces the elemental resistance by a maximum of 30% from 20%. Brittle increases the chance to critically strike an affected enemy by up to 15% from 10%. Scorch, Brittle and Sap now have their base duration of 4 seconds from 2%.
Gyorsan le is nerfelték az új Joe-ra, igen.
This is a buff.
This is a buff.
Hát ez egy...
This is a huge buff. They doubled the duration, and they raised everything by like 50%.
Ezt korcsak néztem, bocsánat.
Nem, valós alternatívát akarnak adni az OG élmenteknek. Mert az OG élmentek, tehát például az Ignite a szituációtól függően szuper haszontalan. Viszont, hogyha ott van a lehetőséget, hogy akkor át tudod tenni magadat Scorchra, akkor az ilyen crit elemental, vagy hát crit is a fire buildekben, ahol leszarod az Ignite-ot, ott orbitális damage increase egy 20% damage span. Vagy hát nem is span, hanem igazából minus resist. Ja. This good.
Na.
Weapon. Animate weapon has been reworked and undergone some cosmetic upgrades as well. The damage multiplier on animate weapon was not applying to the minion's damage at all. Whoops! Because of this, the skill has been rebalanced.
Jézusom, geci!
Úristen. Whoops.
Oops!
Can now be supported by Unleash and Spell Echo.
Úristen,
now has a base duration of 40 seconds from 37.5 seconds.
Jézus!
Jesus!
Tehát ez a második sor.
Oops!
Now allows a maximum of 5 animated weapons at gem level 1, up to 14 at gem level 20, from 50 at all gem levels.
Hello?
This is a nerf. Now
depends on the rebalance of the damage.
Yeah, definitely. Now has a base cast speed of 0.6 seconds from 0.8 seconds.
Várj egy kicsit, kérdeztek tőled, mikor...
Mi az? Mi?
Hát szerintem arra gondoltak, hogy mit jelent a második sor.
Hát...
Ez azt jelenti, hogy a summon fegyverek nem kapták meg a multiplayereket, amik a minionokra hatnak. Bár minionok voltak.
Igen.
Az azt jelenti, hogy a legtöbb build, ami ilyet játszott, és kirakta a minion damage-et, az... hát...
feleslegesen raktak ki.
Igen. Now costs 4 mana at gem level 1 from 7 and up to 12 at gem level 20 from 26. Now grants your minions attacks 5 to 8 additional physical damage at gem level 1 from 4 to 6, up to 126 to 184 at gem level 20 from 38 to 56. This is a massive buff.
If you divide it by 2, then the animate weapon count checks out, I guess.
Yeah, more or less. Minions now deal 10% more damage at gem level 1, up to 48% more at gem level 20. Note that there was previously similar but numerically higher bonus listed on skill gem that, as it turns out, did nothing. Programming is hard, by the way.
As it turns out, did nothing.
Now grants your minions 10% more attack speed at gem level 1, up to 48% more at gem level 20. Previously, the gem granted increased attack speed rather than more attack speed. Now gains 2% increased minion movement speed per 1% gem quality from 4% increased minion movement speed.
Ha most már hatni fognak a minion damage nódok.
Nem, a minion damage nódok eddig is hatottak rá. A cooked in, built-in more damage nem hatott rá.
Igen, a more damage, ami csak nem volt, de mondjuk
igen.
az is...
Tehát a minion damage az működött.
Az 50% more damage, by the way.
Igen. És az egy olyan more damage, mint a low life-os Mortal Kombat semmi a faszom, az Pain Attunement, hogy az egy ilyen a végén levő másfélszeres szorzó. Az nem egy olyan more damage, mint a gem more damage, ami van support gemeken.
Skill balance. All totems and ballistas now have approximately 50% more base life than previously, with the exception of ancestral totems, decoy totems, and holy flame totems, which had higher base life already. These totems have received a small increase to their base life. Base mine throwing speed has been raised to 0.3 seconds from 0.25 seconds. This is a nerf for the early game movement skill.
Ez volt a nagy nerf.
Specific skills. Ancestral Protector now raises out of the ground, leaving a hole in its wake like a devourer. Arctic Breath. Base projectile speed has been greatly increased. Now has a base cast time of 0.6 seconds from 0.7 seconds. Now deals 11 to 16 cold damage at gem level 1 from 13 to 19, up to 301 to 450 at gem level 20 from 350 to 524. That's a nerf. Now costs 7 mana at gem level 1 from 8, up to 20 at gem level 20 from 23. Artillery Ballista now deals base damage and has an added damage effectiveness of 40% at gem level 1 from 33% up to 51% at gem level 20 from 42%. Blade Vortex. Blades created by this skill can now be destroyed by Blade Blast. Bladefall can now create lingering blades. These can be animated with animate weapon or destroyed with Blade Blast. These blades now have a base duration of 6 seconds at all gem levels. Dash now gains 3% increased travel distance per gem level. Will it finally be usable as a movement skill? Who knows? Ethereal Knives can now create lingering blades. These can be animated with animated weapon or destroyed by Blade Blast. These blades have a base duration of 6 seconds at all gem levels. Explosive Arrow now gains +2 to explosion radius per explosive arrow on the target, up to +12 at all gem levels. Previously scaled as the gem leveled up from +10 at gem level 1 to +19 at gem level 20. This is a nerf. This is a big nerf. You can now stick a maximum of 20 explosive arrows to an enemy, previously no limit. This is a nerf. Explosions now deal 3% more damage with hits and ailments per explosive arrow on the target. Previously this only applied to ignite. This is still not good. Who knows? Flame Dash. The increased
Hát azért láttam olyan buildeket, ahol a srác megsztikkelte a Conquerort, azt instant, úgyhogy azonnal halt.
Oké, de nem meta volt, tehát hogy... Érted?
Flame Dash. The increased cooldown recovery speed this skill gains as it levels up has been lowered. It now gains 47% increased cooldown recovery speed by gem level 20 from 76%. This is a nerf.
Yeah, now but you get the cooldown recovery back from second win.
Yeah, true, but you're losing.
But you have to use second win now, basically.
Yeah, you're losing a gem socket.
Yeah.
Now gains 1% increased cooldown recovery speed per 2% gem quality from 1 for 1. This is a nerf. Flame Blast now has a base radius of 2 from 5. Now gains +3 radius per stage from 2. This is a nerf. Frostblink now deals damage and leaves shield ground at both its start and end locations. Now receives a reduced cooldown based on the number of nearby enemies at both its start and end locations. Now has a base maximum travel distance of 42 at gem level 1 from 32. Now gains 2% increased distance per gem level. Now gains additional radius as it levels up to +3 at gem level 20. This is still gimmicky, I don't think anyone will use it.
Mm-hmm.
Herald of Agony.
I guess. Tehát Supermod build függő, de abba gondolj bele, hogyha például valami Ice Novát vagy Shock Novát játszol, vagy bármit, és bele tudsz teleportálni úgy a pakkokba, hogy effektíve mire elnyomod a két Ice Novádat, visszajön a CD, nem beszélve arról, hogy beraksz egy Second Windet, és ugye azzal effektíve kapsz cooldown recovery-t, plusz kapsz charge-ot ugye azért, tehát ugye két use-od lesz rajta alapból, plusz ugye az, hogy Arcane Surge, tehát ugye azért is Flame Dash-nél is oké, berakod a Second Windet, de Arcane Surge-ot már nem nagyon kell beletenni, tekintve, hogy Arcane Surge-ot N+1 üzéból lehet már nem tudom, végtelen van Cluster Jewel-on van Arcane Surge, hogy van Hit with Spells, meg mit tudom én, Mind Throw-ra is már adja moves, vagy Arcane Surge-ot, meg a kis kutyának a fülére, már lassan mindenre kapunk Arcane Surge-ot, tehát hogy szerintem az Arcane Surge felszabadul, mint szükséges szoket ezekben a movement skill-ekben.
Herald of Agony. Agony Crawler now deals 5% increased physical damage per appearance you have at gem level 1, up to 9% at gem level 20. So this is a nerf because it's from 6 to 12%. It's probably a nerf to compensate from some of the new nodes you can put in. Otherwise, I don't see why they're nerfing this skill because it's not a strong skill to begin with.
Hát én most mentem végig az összes Jewel-on, vagy mi az Notable-on, és így...
És a plusz ez Virulence-ből beraksz 3-at, akkor már... végtelen damage közben tesom horkol, de ez végtelen damage, bazd meg.
Lightning War. Now has a base cast time of 0.7 seconds from 0.8. Now has 30% reuse duration at gem level 1, from 28 up to 49% at gem level 20.
Attól még egy szar skill. Attól még egy szar skill levelni, vagy mozogni.
This is an insane buff to its Drusus's Lightning Warp build. Not kidding, by the way, check it out, it's quite funny. Precision now grants 20% increased critical strike chance to you and all nearby allies at gem level 1 from 40% up to 58% at gem level 20 from 59%.
Senkit nem érdekel.
Why?
Literálisan egyetlen egy levelt berakod, hogy azért futtassa. Nem, hogyha úgy nézzük, akkor 10 manáért ez a 40% crit, ami két kis passzív, az tényleg sok, de az esetek jelentős részében azért nyomtad be, mert volt 10 manád, másrészt meg mert az a Watchers így ájodra ez kellett az aktiválás, és így ennyi. Tehát, hogy így...
Pyrofast. Oh, sorry.
Na semmi.
Pyrofast mine. Now fires an additional projectile for every 4 prior mines in the detonation sequence. Previously fired an additional projectile per 2 mine detonations. Now there's a base cast time of 0.18 from 0.25. This is a nerf. Raised Spectre. Raised Spectres are now level 31 at gem level 1, up to 76 at gem level 20. Previously level 80 at gem level 20. Why? Raised Zombie. The number of maximum raised zombies you can have at gem level 20 is now 6 from 7. Zombie behavior while idle at near player is now less chaotic. This is a buff. Shield charge. The radius of the damaging circle at the end of the charge has been doubled. The effects have been updated to match. Shrapnel Ballista now deals base damage and has an added damage effectiveness of 38% at gem level 1 from 33% and up to 44% at gem level 20 from 38%. Spirit Offering. Repeated rapid casting of Spirit Offering was far too efficient as a means of protecting and recovering minion life and player life through Mistress of Sacrifice. This still provides valuable protection for minions without it being significantly better than almost every other tool available. No longer grants a portion of the minion's maximum life as enemy shield. Now grants 20% to chaos resistance at gem level 1 up to 30 at gem level 20. This is a nerf. Summon Carrying Golem now causes your Carrying Golem to deal 5% more damage per non-golem minion near them from 8% up to a maximum of 50 from 80%. This is a nerf. Summon Holy Relic now displays the minion's life in the tooltip. Now has a cooldown of 0.3 seconds on its Nova skill instead of 0.25 seconds. Okay, Summon Skeletons. Damage dealt by minions and all gem levels has been lowered by approximately 40%. This change is invisible on the gem as it's a property of the minion itself and does not affect skeleton mages or any other non-basic skeleton minions summoned by Val Summon Skeletons. The number of maximum summoned skeletons you can have at gem level 20 is now 7 from 8. This is a nerf.
F.
Temporal Chains now has 50% less effect against players. Previously it had 40% reduced effect against players. Now note that this change means it's multiplicative with sources of increased curse effect.
Ez HH-nerf?
This is a headhunter nerf.
Igen, mert így most már sokkal több curse effectre van szükséged. Nem nerf amúgy, mert tehát egy szuper kényelmes. Tehát még én nekem is benne hagytam tehát hogy igazából ilyen, tehát abszolút megoldható, nem kell aggódni, ez igazából egy picit kényelmetlenebb lett. Annyi a lényeg, hogy most már kb. Kelleni fog a 30% curse effectiveness helmet enchant, ennyi.
Volatile Dead now displays that you're limited to a maximum of 60 orbs at a time. Did anyone know about this limit?
Yeah,
did
they introduced it last league.
Másik, hogy hát a zombie meta.
Zombie meta dead. Val skill balance. Val flame blast now
Mi nem halott?
Mi? Miért nem?
Egy darab mínusz zombi?
No.
Hát egy darab mínusz zombi, oké. De tehát, hogy eddig is jó volt a zombie monster, tehát hogy az nem változott semmit konkrétan. Ha így nézzük.
Mondom, az nem kapott nerfen. Skeleton lőtték le, és azért a zombi az király.
Zombies are fine. The skeletons have been screwed.
Yeah.
So Val skill balance now. Val flame blast now triggers every 3 stages from every 5 stages. Now has a base radius of 35 from 30.
Buff. Poke.
Buff. Val flame blast. The well-known clear skill. Dirt. Support jam balance. Ballistic totem support now causes supported skills to deal 42% less damage at gem level 1, up to 33% less at gem level 20 from 50 and
I sleep.
Senki nem használta.
I sleep.
No one used it before, no one will use it after. Feeding frenzy support now gives your minions minions from supported skills 25% to grant feeding frenzy to you on hit at gem level 1, up to 44% at gem level 20. Previously 25% at all gem levels. This is a buff. No longer causes minions from supported skills to deal more damage while you have feeding.
This is not a buff.
From supported skills to deal more damage while you have feeding frenzy. This is a huge nerf.
It was like 8% more damage or 5s.
Yeah, but still. Unleash support now causes spells to deal 20% less damage when reoccurring at gem level 1 from 35% up to 11% at gem level 20 from 26%. Buff. Massive buff.
És ugye van az a jewel, vagy van az a notable, ami 30% extra seal recovery-t ad, yeah. És az övéken állís 0.66, azt hiszem a recovery, vagy nem, 0.62 azt hiszem a recovery time, és abból leveszünk még 30%-ot, így lemegy az, hogy kb. Fél szekánként kapsz izét. Sőt, ilyen 0.40 valamennyiként kapsz szíleket. Hát, hogy a BV az így godly, az így szuper kényel. Úristen, tudjátok, hogy mivel az új Blade robbantással?
Unintended Summon Raging Spirit buff.
Igen.
Awaken Unleash now causes spells to
deal.
Awakened Unleash now causes spells to deal 10% less damage when recurring at gem level 1 from 25% up to 8% at gem level 20 from 23%. Passive tree balance. The second passive tree on the energy shield path from the witch's starting location now gives plus 15 to maximum energy shield from 10.
Woo!
And first and last passive of the energy shield path immediately following that passive now each grant 3% increased ES in addition to the plus 10 max ES that they granted previously.
Woo!
Minor buff. The one singular cluster north to the witch has been reworked and now grants 25% increased damage while wielding a wand. 5% increased attack speed with wands and causes increases in reductions to spell damage to apply to attacks while wielding a wand. This is insane. Or rather, it used to be insane because you had the Crown of Eyes. Anyways, the passives preceding it now grants a total of 24% increased damage while wielding a wand and 4% increased attack speed with wands. Enigmatic Reach now grants 10% increased attack speed with staves from 8%. It's a staff and it's multiple staves, and 10% increased cast speed while wielding a staff. from 8%. The small passive immediately preceding it now grants 8% increased area of effect while wielding a staff from 6%. It honestly, you read the patch notes for long enough, and it becomes like a word salad. It's dreadful. Explosive impact, and it's probably because it's so boring. Like this rework, boring as heck. Explosive impact north of the Templar now grants 30% increased fire damage from 25% and 12% increased area of increased area of effect from 8%, as well as 10 strength and 10 intelligence. You have a question, and we'll
a flicker annyira lesz játszható, mint eddig, semmit nem változik.
Szarabb lesz szerintem. Mert én szerintem
attól függ, hogy spawnolnak a deliriumos dolgok. Ha jól spawnolnak, ha nem viszel a flickert, tehát a potenciálisan az ilyenek AD Contagion-nek is ez a problémája, hogy ha normálisan, tehát hogyha az eleje meghal a paknak és egyből lespawnol belőle a mob, és egyszerre bírod ölni, és ott maradsz, és mit tudom én, akkor jó lesz az a flicker, de hogyha ilyen totálisan az, hogy először meghal a pak, aztán bepopolnak, akkor a flicker az egy éc lesz. De fogalmam sincs, nem vagyok nagy flicker játékos, úgyhogy...
As well as 10 to strength and intelligence, the small passive south of the node now grants 8% increased fire damage, 8% increased area of effect. The first small passive of the cluster now grants 12% increased fire damage from 10%.
Ja, mi? Staffok, nagyon érdekes.
The Searing Heat cluster has been unchanged, just moved around. I don't know why this isn't patch notes, this is irrelevant. The Arcane Expense cluster has moved south and is now just north of the Arcane Vision.
Az jó, közelebb van, de az úgy szarnót szerint. Bár BV-re nem.
Hogyha nem kell travelölni hozzá, akkor nem szarom úgy annyira, mert AOE.
Ezt mondom, majd a Witch közelében van BV, mehet.
Ascendancy Roulette, balance. Necromancer, Bone Barrier now no longer grants elemental resistance per minion increase. Life and energy shield recovery per minion is now 2% from 3%, capping out at 20% from 30%.
Az nagyon ritkán, az a lehet.
Now grants you and nearby allies plus 30 to all elemental resistance from 20%.
Az nagyon ripi, mert régebben ki lehetett simán 30%-ol reszedni amúgy a minionokkal.
Hát nem ki lehetett, hanem mindig kiszedték kb. Tehát hogy az a plusz Commander of Darkness és így volt 50%-ot a semmiből, tehát hogy az ilyen unique heavy buildekben az így szuper mód kellett, hogy ki tud magad kapelni.
Ja, tehát azért ez elég csúnyagát amúgy.
Ja.
Érthető, de... Bocsánat.
Assassin. Opportunistic now grants 25% more damage while there is while there is at most one rare or unique enemy nearby from 20%. Ambush and Assassinate grants 25% more damage with hits and ailments against enemies that are on low life, 20%. Mistwalker now grants 15% attack and gas speed while elusive from 20%.
Ez nem rossz, tehát ez what the fuck. Single target.
Guardian, Radiant Faith now grants max energy shield equal to 10% of your reserve mana to you and your nearby allies from 15%.
Az egy 33%-os jellegű nerfike. Hát az potenciál... Nem, szépen lassan elérjük azt a szintet, hogy jöttek szépen az IS nerfek, plusz hogyha mellé még nem tudjuk, hogy van a Gofri, az majd mindjárt jön, meg a Shapers, tehát szépen lassan elérjük azt, hogy Mana Guardiannal lesz 10k IS-ed. Na igen, tovább, sorry.
Ennek kell lennie.
Hát persze, csak mondjuk nem, de mindegy.
I disagree. I fully disagree. I think if you're investing so hard into making
most is lesz 22 000, semmi mással nem lesz annyit. Csak a Mana Guardiannal, figyeld meg.
Item balance. Physical damage taken as Chaos Fire called Lightning modifiers are now mutually exclusive.
Az mit jelent?
Hát az, hogy ugye régen lehetett olyan egy chested, meg helmeted, meg ilyenek, hogy tehát már egy itemen, hogy ugye mit tudom én, rajta volt az Inclusion-os helmeten a 10% Fizz-téken ez a Fire, és emellé rá tudtál craftolni még 4%-ot. Vagy voltak ugye az influences chestek, és lehetett csinálni ilyen dupla tékeneset, hogy Fizz damage taken ez Chaos, meg Fizz damage taken ez Elemental, és akkor ezek most már csak egy rollod lehet fixen.
Curse on hit modifier. Curse on It modifiers found on rings are now mutually exclusive. This does not include ones obtained via item corruptions, so you can no longer have triple curse rings.
De ezt régebben slymmel csinálták, nem?
Nem, azért csinált Awakener-orba.
Na, az.
Corrupting jewels now grants enemies have minus 2% to total physical damage reductions against your hits as an implicit. Corrupted implicits on belts, which increase 2 different attributes, are now mutually exclusive, so you can no longer have a corrupted headhunter from the cards, which adds 2 different stats. The enduring modifier on mana flasks now has 30% reduced duration from 25%, and now also has 30% reduced amount recovered. Flats with this modifier are no longer queued while a stronger effect is active. Instead, the duration will continue to expire with no effect until stronger flask effect ends, or the enduring flask during expires completely.
Értető, én megértem.
Jó ét.
Baszott OP volt.
Hát nem, mert az, hogy a map elején megfogtad és így spamelti egy 20 másodpercig ide flaskát, azt utána ez a map végéig nem kellett.
Jó, ez volt a buildem. Végtelen flaska, bazd meg.
Bows can now roll a high-level suffix, which causes them to fire 2 additional arrows. The existing splintering mod can now appear on lower-level bows and is more common.
Hoppá, az kurva. De várjál, bocsánat, az azt jelenti viszont akkor, hogy a plusz 2 tud rollolni, akkor a Reach of the Council, meg az ilyenek azok technikailag akár haszontalanabbak is.
Igen, de a Reach-nek azt mondták, hogy azt még nem rework-ölték vágod.
Reach will be buffed severely, supposedly.
Yeah.
The of Takati modifier can now only appear on body armors. It now reduces damage taken over time by 5 to 7% from 8 to 10%. If you use a Divine Orb, the item will update to these new values. Why would you do that? The Takati's modifier on weapons now adds 3 to 5% of physical damage as extra chaos damage from 8 to 10%. You can divine your old weapons if you want to lower the damage you deal for some reason. The Tapante's modifier, elemental resistance penetration, now applies to attacks and now penetrates 5 to 7% of your enemy's resistance, from 13 to 15% with spells as well. Existing items are affected by the penetration type change, and using a Divine Orb will bring existing items to these new values. Why would you do that? The Guatalizzi's jewelry
Buongiorno!
Buongiorno, Guatalizzi. Now grants 2% increased maximum life from 3 to 5%. The Energy Shield version now grants 3% increased maximum energy shield from 8 to 10%. Using a Divine Orb will bring existing items to these new crappy values. The Xopex modifier can no longer appear on boots, gloves, or helmets. The Amulet version now grants increased maximum mana rather than flat mana regeneration. This affects existing items with that modifier.
Ki a faszt érdekel?
Why are they nerfing these items?
Azért, mert nagyon sok ember rájött arra, hogy hogyan lehet gyorsan futni ezeket, a templomot, és kurva sok item került ki, és nagyon sok itemben elkezdtek craftolni, és ezért jöttek az ilyen baszott ostoba.
Az ilyen 40 penes bók, így az elementál hitre, meg penes bók, ugye spellcasterben, mert ugye az a topontante, az ugye működött konkrétan spellekre is.
Yep, definitely. The off-puhua, wait.
Puhu.
Yeah. Off-puhua modifier now grants 3 to 5% of physical damage taken as an element from 9 to 10%, divided if you'd rather be taking more physical damage. The
Szitakötő, bazd meg! Konkrétan szitakötő, igen, bocsánat.
Yeah, the Sitakoto one-handed weapon modifier now grants 50 to 66% increased damage dealt by a minion from 70 to 74%. The 200 version now grants 5 to 94 from 105 to 110.
Nem ezen volt a two-handed verzió 5% more damage? Nem mi 5% chance to double damage?
Igen, de azt nem írták, hogy elvették.
But they're not touching that.
Azt se írták, hogy ott van.
I don't think they changed that. The Frostblink travel distance labyrinth helmet enchants now grants 50% increased travel distance from the Merciless labyrinth from 65% and 75% increased travel distance to the Eternal labyrinth 100%. This does not affect existing items with this enchant. This is a huge nerf, by the way. Everyone was using this. You can no longer obtain the plus 2 projectiles to Pyroclast Mine helmet enchantment. The +1 variant now exclusively comes from the Eternal labyrinth.
A Pyroclastot az úgy nerfelték.
Igen, az így konkrétan a gyűjtőben van. De ez a Ball Lightning meg nem, szóval így igazából Gucci.
Nekem az lesz szerintem a kezdőm.
Mi Ball Lightning Miner? Arc Ball Lightning? Abszolút. Marci meg ezért akar. Explode Trap plusz Arc.
Crafted modifiers. The Veil modifier now grants +1 to maximum number of summoned skeletons and raised zombies can only be unveiled on the helmet slot. It can no longer be unveiled crafted on body armors.
De az nem jó?
Hát igen, és akkor ez a baronod hol van, öcsi?
Yep.
Oh.
No, it's either no Baron or no Joffrey, right? Like that was their choices. But Joffrey, wait, we didn't touch on Joffrey yet. Influence item modifiers. New mods are available on Hunter Influence and Warlord Influence gloves. Another new tier of maximum resistance modifiers are available on boots, gloves, helmets, and shields. Quivers can now roll the second tier of these modifiers. Crusaders, Redeemers, Hunters, Warlords, so all 4 Exalted Orcs will now currently obey the mod restrictions, daggers and wall staves.
Csak egy 3 hónap kellett, mire ez működik, igen.
Shiver Influence helmets can now gain nearby enemies take increased elemental damage. Other Influence Quivers can no longer gain chance to gain Frenzy Charge on kill. Warlords Influence Belts can now gain increased damage at values slightly higher than those found on Veil items. Shaper Influence Belts can no longer gain increased energy shield. Well, this is fucked. Increased fire, cold, and lightning damage modifiers on belts from the Warlord, Redeemer, and Crusader Influence belts, respectively, can now each roll 5% higher than previously. Existing items can be defined to these new values. Hunter Influence amulets can now gain chaos damage leeches life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Na most, ez érdekes, majd ugye Poet DB-ről megtudjuk, hogy mik az új influence modok, mert hát azt ugye kár leírni. Viszont az a Shaper Influence Helmet now can gain nearby enemies take increased elemental damage, az így actually pog. Valószínűleg fossil craftolni még így is könnyebb lesz, vagy ez, tehát hogy jobb lesz, de...
Bevallom őszintén egy kicsit beletekertem. Hát az Incursion-ben említettem, hogy kurva nagy változtatás van, mert ez egy A4-es oldal.
Ja, de hát azt mondták is, meg az kicsit kellett is, úgyhogy... Nagyon egy fossil crafting, Jézusom!
Fossil crafting. We want crafting to be a way to get great items, but not the only way to get the very best items. Fossil crafting in particular was the only way to obtain a large number of very desirable mods. We've done away with all fossil exclusive mods except for those found on the faceted, blowstone, hollow fossils, and moved a number of them to other sources. These mods can still be obtained through fossil crafting as long as the base item fulfills the mod's requirements.
Hoppá.
Fossil crafts can no longer craft any prefix or suffix mods that cannot be obtained elsewhere, with the exception of those granted by faceted, bloodstained, and hollow fossils. Implicit modifiers, such as the one which changes an item's vendor sell price, remain. The following mods have been relocated, while all others can no longer be obtained. That's fucked. What the fuck? On boots, +2 levels of Targeted Fire Chance. +2 levels, so +2 on all.
Fuck, Brit, majd elmondom, hogy miért. Igen, sorry, mondjad.
+2 to all 4 elemental gems plus chaos. +1 to level of race level of race specters. Helmets have retained the -X% fire resistance. Well, no, they've lost them, right? And now it's from Warlords.
Ez mit jelent? Bocsánat, ez azt jelenti, hogy ezeket már nem lehet szerezni, vagy ez mi is pontosan?
Nem, ez konkrétan annyi történt, hogy most már nem fossil modok, tehát például a Nearby Enemies have minus fire, ez meg ilyenek, az most már ugye Warlord mod és nem Scorched fossil.
No, wait. These mods can still be obtained through fossil crafting.
Persze, mert ugyanúgy vételi, vágott, tehát ugye a More Fire, tehát csak most már nem, tehát most már ki tudod Chaos spamelni az itemről, hogyha ki akarod Chaos spamelni az itemről, vagy ki tudod Alt spamelni, ha ki akarod Alt spamelni.
Body armor, socketed attacks have -15 to mana cost. % increased aura effect on you. Quiver, % chance to gain frenzy charge on hitting a rare or unique. Belt, increased chaos damage. Increased physical damage, increased elemental damage, increased energy shield from body armor, which was buffed from Shapers to here. Chance for double armor effect when hit. Rings, Fire, Cold, Lightning, Physical, Chaos, Leech modifiers can now exclusively be found from special elemental delve encounters. Weapons, targeted attack spells deal X% more damage. Chance for poison, bleeding inflicted with this weapon to deal more damage. Chance to intimidate on it, and auras from your skills grant increase damage to you and your allies. Jewels. Now, damage penetrates 1% fire, cold, lightning, elemental resistance, and gloves, amulet, and shield fossil exclusive modifiers can no longer be obtained in any form. Existing items will be unchanged. Alright.
Most itt az a probléma, hogy hova lett például a Dance Fossilos Fortify. Például.
Rip in
mert ugye nyakláncról eltűnt, azt oké, azt aláírom, mert nyakláncon volt Fortika.
Helmet.
De ugye volt helmeten is, és ha jól látom, akkor...
Ott is van, az oldalra.
Hol?
Crusader Infra, utolsó sora, utolsó not.
Ja.
Helmeten.
Ja, hát igen, az Awakener Orbnak fel fog menni az ára kurvára. Tekintve, hogy ugye egy normális chestnek a kikraftolása az, tehát hogy így effektíve full super fucked lesz az egész, Jézusom. Tehát hogy most már chest armoron, ugye a mínusz mana costhoz neked Warlord Influence kell, ez a body armoron, a robbanás az Crusader, viszont a base crit meg Hunter, szóval effektíve azt meg nem tudod megtenni.
Nem tudsz mind a hármat rárakni?
Igen, tehát valószínűleg mínusz mana costot fogod eldobni, és ezért csinálod meg konkrétan Shaper Craftból, vagy Shaper Craft faszom, mi az gyűrű Craftból fogod megcsinálni.
Ez érdekes, mert nagyon sok szinergia lett szétszedve.
Igen, de szuper nagy volt a power level. Hát most abban gondolj bele, hogy tudtál csinálni egy olyan chestet, amin volt mínusz mana cost, volt additional curse, volt base crit, és volt explodi. Érted? Tehát, hogy így... Haló? Most az így hol fair? Tehát, hogy
actually, the biggest nerf so far is the anti-aliasing change. Because the previous seriously, the previous anti-aliasing technique was increasing the sample rate, and the new one is just applying a blurring filter, so it's gonna look like ass. Anyways, unique item balance. Unique watchstones always drop with a number of uses that is a multiple of 3. Why wasn't this a feature before? The savior.
Bocsánat, ez hogy van?
Hát mert néha izéval ilyen 7 charge-al esett meg ilyenek, ugye azért, hogyha az max extensionolod, akkor ugye hogy ugye fixen...
Random esett a szám.
Ja, random izéval esett charge-al, igen.
The savior. Marriage warriors created by this weapon can now consume charges to bypass cooldowns if the skills they use has a cooldown. It can be bypassed this way. For example, Flicker Strike Mirage Warriors will now consume frenzy charges until they run out, at which point they will only use Flicker Charge once the cooldown expires. These Mirage Warriors now have a cool new effect. Singularity. The aura granted by this item now has a radius of 35 units instead of 25. This affects all versions of the item. Zerfi's Heart now grants Soul Eater for 20 seconds upon using a Val skill from 10 seconds. Existing versions of this item can be brought up to these values with a Divine Orb. Solstice Vigil now has 40 increased damage from 20-25 and 8-10 mana regeneration per second from 2-3. This is kind of a huge buff. The Shaper Presence buff granted by this item now grants minus 20% to buff expiration speed from 33%. This buff change affects all versions of the item.
Igen, tehát az az viszont így már, hogy így most a Self-Curse Juicert azt egy picit megfogták és egy kicsit beleherélték Afrikába, mert az a baj, hogy így meg már viszont kelleni fog minden. Tehát így kelleni fog a Helmet Enchant is, meg kelleni fog kelleni fog a Jewel is, mondjad már Val Jewel, de most ez olyan dolog, hogy ez annyit fog változtatni, hogy nem 80 szekig lesz rajtad minden HH buff, hanem mondjuk 75. Tehát, hogy így, igen, igazából kutya szar, tehát nem igazán jelent semmit.
Hát még több itemet kell investálni.
Persze, tehát igazából még drágább lesz ez egy juicer, ennyi. Vagy hát igazából az optimális juicer még drágább lesz, de igazából technikailag szarnak egy pofon, a legnagyobb ez a probléma az lesz ugye, hogy nincsen nemezis. Azt igazából drágább lesz a HH, azt ennyi. Na igen.
A Brit lefagyott, megkulázott, nem volt eleget.
Actually, I'm actually reading on, but only I'm doing it in mute, so it's very useful. Tempered Flesh, Spirit Mind, and Transcendent Flesh, Spirit Mind have been completely reworked. Existing items are not affected, and only new versions of these items will have the following changes. Tempered Flesh now grants -1 to strength on allocated passives and 2% increased life recovery rate and strength on allocated passives.
Ezek a jewel-okat a templomba.
Tempered Spirit now grants -1%, one dex and 2% increased movement speed. Tempered Mind grants -1 int and 2% increased mana recovery rate.
Haló. Kivették a crit múltat akkor.
Igen.
Yep. Transcendent Flesh now grants -1 strength on allocated passives, 3%
Nem vették ki.
No, the crit mult is gone. It's critical strike mult. Oh no, it's crit mult. What the fuck? Okay.
Nem, a Tempered Flash volt, a kicsi.
Így van. A Transcendenten meg Physical Mitigation volt.
Yeah, so now it moved from int to strength. That's basically all that happened.
Mi?
Nem.
Nem, annyi a lényeg, hogy a sima kicsi, az csak annyi, hogy az allocated nódokat kiveszi, és mi szerintem valami typo, bazd meg. 2% life recovery rate per turn, esteron unallocated, nem? Ott nem annak kéne lennie? Mert ugye a Transcendent Flash az pedig az, hogy mínusz STR on allocated, tehát nem kapod meg az allocated-et, 3% increased life per 10 strength on allocated, és 2% life recovery rate per 10 strength on unallocated passives, és 7 crit mult per 10 on unallocated, tehát hogy effektíve...
Ez nem egy tipó, ez az új működése. Tehát
ez komplet reverse.
De hogyha... De mi? Hogyha -1 STR on allocated, akkor hogy lehet 10 strength per allocated, mert akkor azok nem adnak izét? Haló?
Igen, nem kapod meg a statod, viszont megkapod azt a százalékot, amit megkaptál volna, hogyha a statod.
Annyit változtattak meg róla, hogy ami régebben a kicsin volt, az most átkerült a nagyra, és a kicsin igazából most nincs cucc. Most a nagyra raktak még egyet, és most az a +1, ez a life recovery, az alapból nem volt.
Az régebben a life recovery, ez amúgy geci nagy.
Régebben a Tempered Spiritet használták a Mana Guardianok, mert 15 mana volt dexterinként. Ez geci sok volt. Most már nincs rajta.
Nem, ezért, hogy amúgy a Transcendent Flashnek a life recovery az orbitális amúgy. Az nagyon-nagyon durva. Az így konkrétan, tehát hogy az a Transcendent Flash-t, azt ekte Righteous Fire-be az 30% life recovery. Az egy Watcher's Eye. Az gyakorlatilag scale-eli a leech-edet, az scale-eli a mindent. Ez rohadt erős. Az sustain szempontból.
A Transcendent Flash az elég szar. Meg 2000 reduced life recovery-t ad per 10 strength.
Jó, hogy az reduced, bazd meg, jó, nem figyeltem, Jézusom.
This is garbage, is what it is.
I mean, hogyha nem szeretnéd a izét, hogyha nem szeretnéd az crit multot, akkor... Mosra?
Akkor ott a kicsi.
De nem, mert hogyha valahogy úgy jön ki a fát, hogy viszont mindenki van így allokálva, mert ugye főleg az Emeraudernél, vagy mondjuk izét csinálsz, Beef-ten csinálsz, és alapból kell az STR, akkor igazából nem sajnálsz 10 STR-t üzerére rárakni. És akkor ekte igazából izéd van. De mondjuk ott meg akkor nem kapod meg az STR-t, bazd meg, hát akkor mi a fasznak? Nem tudom, trash, nevermind. A Reduced Life Recovery az kicsit ilyen whatever amúgy, egy csomó buildben. Csak az a baj, hogy hát most mit tudom én azért, hogyha van ott hát... Ja. De szerintem rohadtul nem éri meg az trade-offot. Igen. Ja. Úgyhogy kuka az STR-es.
Én átolvastam az összeset, szerintem
a Dex-es is kuka. A Dex-es az így... A Dex-est azt ugye az extra accuracy miatt használta például a Juicer, mert ugye kellett az accuracy, azzal így egy darab tempered spirittel, vagy mi a bánattal konkrétan voltál accuracy capen, és most meg az a baj, hogy hát mondjuk nem baj, mert reduce movement speed és ja, semmi. Ám az még mindig működik.
Right.
Jött, az most már Dexre rakták az accuracy-t, nem Intellectre, bazd meg.
Yep, hát ezt mondom, hogy megszapolták.
Ja, igen, jó, felfogom, nyugi, oké.
Grand Spectrum. Cobalt version now grants 25% increased critical strike chance per Grand Spectrum from plus 30 to maximum mana.
Kek.
Viridian version now grants 15% increased elemental damage per Grand Spectrum from 12%. Crimson version now grants 7% to all elemental resistance per Grand Spectrum from 200 armor rating.
Szarrágátolták a Mana Guardian.
Yep. Existing versions of these items are not affected except for Viridian version, which you can update with a Divine Orb. Fever Mine now increases mana cost of skills by 50% from 100% and grants 30 to 40 increased spell damage from 20 to 30%. This would affect existing items, except since they're all corrupted, you can't reroll them. Blame it Siri.
A Fever Mine az melyik is?
Hát vágod a skill mana cost plusz spell damage.
Ja, Indigo.
Hát azzal tudtál magadnak egy extra mana costot csinálni.
Indigo, a Kitava's Thirst, az ilyenek.
Ja, a Madinak a terveibe egy kicsit most így belekakáltak.
Hát annyira nem.
Hát, ja, nem tudom, mit csinálni a végleges terv végül is.
Én se.
Na igen.
Fate of the Val now has 180 to 210 increased physical damage from 160 up to 180%. Existing versions can be updated with a Divine Orb. Shadow Stitch now has 250 to 350 increased defenses. Existing items are unaffected. Sorry. On's Heritage now grants plus 2% to maximum elemental resistances while you have no endurance charges from 3%. You can use a Divine Orb on existing items to increase the odds of you dying while wearing it. Shaper's Touch now grants plus 1 to maximum mana per 4 strength, from plus 2 to maximum mana per 4 strength, and 1% increase energy shield per 10 strikes from 2% increased energy shield per 10 strength. You can use a Divine Orb on existing versions if you feel it's unethical to have that much mana and energy shield, because it is. Crown of Eyes now causes increases in reductions to spell damage to apply to your attacks at 150% of their value from 100%. This affects all versions of the item. Chains of Commands. The skill granted by this item the skills granted by this item have been updated in line with Animate Weapon. The level 18 version. Okay, we've been over this. Basically the same thing. Jorhar's Blacksteel. The on-kill skill with this weapon has been updated in line Animate Weapon. Same deal. The Baron now grants 10 to 20% increased minion maximum life from 20. Plus 1 to maximum number of raised zombies per 500 strength from 300. And with at least 1000 strength, 1.5 to 2% damage dealt by a raised zombie to you as life from 2%. Using the Divine Orb will update existing...
Akkor nem mehet a zombi vissza az egész!
Death Heart now grants 50% to critical strength multiplier from 100%.
De miért?
You can use a Divine Orb to rune it and any existing death opuses.
De miért?
Azért, mert gyakorlatilag a legjobb endgame fizzból volt a Death Opus, azért. Hát geci, hát erzett, azért meg tudtad csinálni mindent, vágod, hogy miért? Mert ugye az extra pro scale-elt a Void Fletcher-t, és így gyakorlatilag effektíven nem, tehát hogy a két extra proj és a 100% múlt, az ekte többet csinált, mint bármi. Ez a Void Fletcher állítaton.
Obliteration now has 25 to 50 to 85, 125 added physical damage from 2430 to 8092. You can use Divine Orb to update your item.
Őszinte leszek. Annyira várom, hogy valaki csinálja egy geci erős Wandert, mert most már fixen meg lehet az új band mechanikákkal.
De lesz is.
With Obliteration and Spellslinger you can actually make a very strong Wander, Wand caster, right? Because Spellslinger. Thread of Hope. Clarify the description of the area in which you can allocate passives. Eclipse Solaris no longer has added physical damage. It now has 30, 45 to 60, 80 added fire damage and 6 to 10 increased attack speed. This does not affect the existing versions of this item, whereas fated version Corona Solaris. Doriani's Fist has 30% increased strike effect. Why? Why are we talking about this item?
Olvasd csak.
80 to 100 to maximum energy shield from plus 30, 30% chance to shock from 10%, and now grants 200 to 250 energy shield on killing a shocked enemy from 30. Existing items can be updated with Divine Orb. The Doriani's Touch skill granted by this item now has 30% less attack speed from 50% less, and now has 40% chance to shock from 20%. These changes affect all versions of the item.
Igen, nem feltétlenül, nem kell leírni
mindenki azért panaszkodott, Matyil is, mert geci lassú volt. De még attack speed stackelve is baszott szar volt.
Igen, és az a 250 IS on kill, az így amúgy nagyon jó. Tehát, hogy meg 30% shock effekt, meg shock chance, 40%, hát így amúgy haló.
Mind of the Council no longer recovers mana on shocking an enemy.
Az rip.
Now causes attack skills to have added lightning damage equal to 6% of your maximum mana, and causes you to lose 3% of your mana when you use an attack skill. Now has plus 15 to plus 20 to maximum energy shield. What? Soulcatcher no longer grants reduced cost of Val skills. It now grants 80 to 100 to 20% increased critical strike chance with Val skills. It now increases damage with Val skills by 80 to 120%. Using a Divine Orb on existing items will grant the new values, but not change the Val soul cost modifier to the critical strike.
Azt tudjátok mi?
Igen, de...
Nem lehet most már kicsizelni a izét. Még jobban.
VMS-t.
Soul Ripper has been reworked. It now minus 40 to plus 90 maximum charges and consumes maximum charges on use, granting Val souls equal to the consumed charges. It now loses all charges on entering a new area. Existing versions are unaffected. Other item changes. Divination card The Dark Mage no longer gives War Staves as a reward. Finally. The Divination card The Price of Protection can once again drop. It now always grants a Chateau map of a tier equal to whatever tier it would have been if all Watchstones are socketed in the region in the current league.
Ugye a Soul Ripper az érdekes, főleg az, hogy itt now loses all charges on entering a new area.
Ki lehet csízelni a delfbe.
Igen.
Monster changes. Increased movement speed now has a lower limit, beyond which they cannot be slowed further. For magic monsters, that limit is 10% of their base movement speed. For unique and rare monsters, that limit is 20% of their base movement speed. Monster skills that appear to deal damage in waves, such as the Bat Monster Screech in Highgate's Mine, now actually do. Previously, the damage was dealt instantly across the whole area.
De ezért haltak az emberek.
Yeah. The rest of spinning blades will now play a short animation before they begin dealing damage.
Na, milyen fasza, 4 év után pog.
Yeah. Delve changes. Delve areas are now considered to be the level of the monster in the shallowest part of the delve, meaning players will not be downscaled below the level of the shallowest part of the delve. It also means that item filters which filter by area level will work correctly in the Azerite mine.
Ligák után.
You can no longer enter delve areas if you're 20 levels or more below the shallowest part of the delve you're trying to access. You can no longer join a delve encounter that is already in progress.
Azt tudod mi?
Rest in pieces,
Delve carries.
Delve carries, yeah. The rate, well, no, because you can start it in team. Like, it's just rip if you launch the boss fight and you realize you can't do it. You can, the rate and volume of monsters that will spawn while you're in city areas has been increased. Incursions changes. Oh my fucking god, that's a block.
Ezt mondta.
If you're very lucky, you can now find double corrupted strings of servitude from incursion temples of level 80 or greater. If you're very lucky, what the fuck?
Hát, random chance gondolom.
Many rooms now provide temple-wide bonuses for the present-day Temple of Artsaatl based on their tier. The following rooms now grant plus 1% of monster pack size, 2% increased quantity, and 4% increased rarity of items. Trap Workshop Armorer's Workbench, Sparring Room, Shrine of the
Full
Power,
haszontalanok voltak.
Flame Workshop and Lightning Workshop.
Ezekért ezekért modifikálták meg szerintem. Teljesen átdolgozhatták akkor az egészen.
Chests in the present day Incursion Temple that previously contained either an Incursion unique item or magic item with an Architect's mod now also adopt 2 to 3 rare items with the Architect's mod.
Wow, that's pog.
The Poison Gardens higher tiers now add more and larger poison pods, including some that contain monsters at tier 3. Nice.
Meg gondolom belerakták a Hunternek a mobjait.
Yeah.
Elmondom nektek, hogy nekem onnan esett Exalt meg egy csomó káosz.
Igen, ezekből, igen.
Podokból.
Tempest from the Tempest generator and its higher tiers now strike much more frequently and their effects last longer. Based on the tier of the Surveyor study sequence of rooms, architects throughout the present day temple will now drop map-related currency items.
Wow, és az összes architect. Baszó.
The Royal Meeting Room and its higher tiers now add more magic monsters to the temple. If you manage to find a Tyrian there, her base life will be more closely match that of the Val Fragment equivalent.
Jó, ennek van értelme, mert bementél level 83-as Hacirira, 18-szor annyi HP volt, és mit kaptál belőle? Egy cipőt.
Nem tudom, mondjuk én face-be jutottam, csak akkor is nem dobott semmit. Tehát, hogy azzal az a baj, nem dob semmit.
A Surveyor Study az a mapos.
Igen.
Ma. Bocsánat, nem?
Based on the tier of the Armorer's Workshop sequence of rooms, monsters throughout the present-day temple will benefit from increased elemental resistances and will take reduced physical damage in line with similar map modifiers. Based on its Sparring Room, same deal with critical strike multipliers, God House and its tier now increase the pack size of the monsters throughout the temple. The Splinter Research Lab now constrains a breach. Higher tiers versions of this room add additional breaches and clasped hand chests. The Jeweler's Workshop and its higher tiers now grant increased rarity across the present-day temple. The Shrine of Empower now also grants monsters in the present-day temple increased attack and cast speed modifiers in line with the similar map modifiers, including the benefits to item rarity, quantity, and monster pack size that those modifiers come with. The Sanctum of Unity Tier 2 now gives +1 to levels, Temple Nexus +1 to the level of both monsters and items to the present day temple. Based on the tier of the hatchery sequence, monsters throughout the present day temple will benefit from an increased damage modifier, blah blah blah. Based on the tier hatchery sequence, monsters through present day will benefit from modifiers against extra fire damage to monsters, blah. Based on the tier of the hatchery sequence, extra lightning. Basically, it's they inlined it with map mods. Based on the tier with the Torment Cells, the series of room monsters throughout the present day temple will now start possessed, beginning at tier 2. This is a buff.
Igen.
A wider range of strongboxes can now be found in the strongbox chamber and its higher tier. Incursion temple crafting benches can now be used by characters on the same account other than the one that opened it.
Fucking hell. Halló? 20 év után. Na most akkor én azt szeretném, hogy akkor a Betrayal is remélem, meg az összes. Tehát annyira fos volt, hogy ugye én például a Juicerrel így nem futottam templomot, mert szar volt. De hogyha a Juicerrel kinyitottam esetleg, vagy így nem is tudom, hogy nem tudtam megölni a boss-t, azt hiszem, és akkor a bossra átlogoltam, és így nem tudtam használni ezeket.
Audionak igaza van, nincs Goffrey-nek.
Ja, nincs, igen.
Betrayal changes.
De azzal nincs is baj, szerintem az volt az item, amit használnak más buildek is, de így nem brókelnek például a CI-os beef-ten meg ilyenek. És szerintem az ilyen nerf az így a Shaper's Touch nerf az szerintem elég.
Én a CI build Vortex-et meg akartam csinálni, de hát nem lett rá idő. Előző ligába, miután leszkemeltek és le kellett kvitálni a ligát. Betrayal changes. Aisling can now award Metamorph Scarabs if she has the intervention job. She will now award double veiled weapons and jewelry if she's in transportation, and double veiled armor if she's in jewelry, and jewelry if she's in
intervention or bust, de így amúgy is szar.
The Mastermind can now drop Metamorph Scarabs.
Fog.
Okay. Map changes. Copies of Atziri created during the Alluring Abyss Atziri fight now have approximately 5 times more life than before.
Mi? Ja, amiről fésznek.
Uber split phase is now shit. The bosses of
loot,
Careblade,
steal shit, so doesn't really matter.
the bosses of Careblade, Poorjoys, etc., 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 have had their life significantly increased. Sorry. The unshaped monsters at the end of the Shaper Gauntlet have also had their life increased. Maps offered as part of Zana missions will now inherit the Awakening level. Zana's level is now based on the number of bonus objectives you have completed. Brutish Merveil Weaver map boss equivalents have received the same upgrades as their campaign versions did. Merveil map boss, Kappa. Burial Chamber has moved to tier 7, specifically so there isn't one lovely little tier 7 map. The Monster Avoid Elemental Ailments modifier now grants monsters 30, 50, 70 chance to avoid elemental ailments.
Attól még szarad a mapot, tehát hogy...
Yep. Same deal with Poison, Blind and Bleeding. The Shaper now takes significantly reduced damage at the start of each phase, which tapers off after 8 seconds.
Ez azt jelenti, hogy...
Nem lehet felrobbantani Shapert.
Actual boss fights, by the way, boys. The Death and Taxes boss visuals have been improved, and it now has more life, uses new skills, moves more quickly, and will transition phases more rapidly. It will no longer target non-player characters. During phase transitions, fewer extra monsters spawn during this fight. The boss now always drops map-related currency on death. We have more extensive changes planned for this map.
Az jó lenne, mert hogy foglalkoznak ez a mappal, és ez a leghaszontalanabb, legszarabb unique mapon.
Ja. De még van egy pár ilyen vicc item, mint ahol a kól van, meg a de mindegy.
A kólos az jó, mert a kólosból... Régen azért volt király, mert ki lehetett szedni kurva jó nagy tírű mapokat. Most nem fölösleges.
Improved character visibility in rocks. Very tiny the Redeemer will now move out of the storm more reliably. Baron, the Crusader mana runes won't stick around after he's slain. The bosses of the Val Pyramid will spawn much more quickly. Clarify the monsters deal X% damages called Fire Lightning. Entrances, NPC locations, and spawn areas no longer have ground effects near them. Fucking finally. Zana League mods available during 3.10. Ambush Abyss, Bloodlines, Dominus, Barandus, Beyond Light. User interface improvements. When you attempt to send a message to a player that is not online, the auto response will now specify which player it is referring to. You can now search for watchstones with sextons in the altars, in the Atlas search bar. You can now see all of the current on a map device options immediately upon unlocking the map device, as well as what it is required to unlock each on a map device options by hovering over them. You're now warned the first time you attempt to use a map after an Atlas reset, so you are aware of the state of your Atlas has changed.
Standard, by the way.
Standardized the behavior of instant skills bound to the left mouse button or any button that is held thusly. Any non-Vanguard skill, bot rage, blah 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 blah, will repeat as long as you hold the button down. Berserk crossbow will repeat as long as you hold the button down, while you also have the attack in place set. Throw flare through dynamite will only be used if you hold the button down. All auras and other reservation skills will only be used once, but also requires that you have attack in place.
Egy picit jó quality of life a bal klikre amúgy.
Yep. Alright, quest rewards. We don't really care about all of this, do we? Kinetic Bolt is a foot to the Witch for completing Enemy of the Gate. Can be purchased at Nessa by Shadow Ranger and Scion, Arcane Cloak, Witch, Templar Shadow, or
Kinetic Boltot ilyen kis szinten megkapt.
Blade Blast is now a foot for the Shadow instead of Frenzy, and can be purchased by Templar, Witch Ranger. Spellslinger is now a foot for the Witch, Lost in Love, and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Templar, Shadow and Scion. Stormbind instead of Vortex. Archmage is now a foot to the Witch, Templar, and Shadow for completing a Fixture of Fate, and can be purchased from Sayasa by the Scion. Second Wind is now a foot to the Ranger and Shadow instead of Fire Penetration for completing a Fixture of Fate, and can be purchased from Siosa by all classes except Morota. PvP changes. Skills of no one cares. Alright, so we have a huge bundle of bug fixes, and then we are done. Okay. Fixed issues with environmental shadows not displaying correctly in some areas. Yeah, every single time this happens, I think my graphics card is dying, and it's a fairly expensive one, so it feels really bad. Fixed a bug where Pisces boss room, or Pisces boss path in the Shaper's Realm would cause visual problems with certain tiles. Fixed bugs which cause some cosmetic effects to fire more slowly initially than base trap on ballista modal, so you were downgrading your damage. Fixed a bug where fighting an Elder Guardian Lightning Warp supported by Greater Spellcaster could cause the player to become trapped in an inescapable area. Fixed a bug where you could select pets that were following you while editing your hideout. Fixed a bug which caused unique dual volley fire to incorrectly grant barrage additional projectile on every arrow fired. When supported by the Arrow Nova support gem.
Yeah, az volt az, amit a srác csinált, hogy 8000 arrow per sec, igen.
Fixed a bug where skills, which caused skills with damaging effects that were disconnected from the initial skill use, such as Molten Strike, Firestorm, blah blah blah, which was supported by effects to trigger multiple successive uses of the skill to not apply the supported gem's damage penalty or enhancement to the delayed effects, or even to the successive skill uses. So this resulted in less damage being dealt by several skills when supported by Molten Strike than they were intended to deal, and more damage by skills supported by Greater Spell Echo and Unleash. Fixed a bug which called Valve Flame Dust to always deal critical strike. Still wasn't seeing much use though. Fixed a bug where you could socket Watchstones into a Conqueror's Citadel even though Conquerors were occupying it. Fixed a bug where the microtransaction store would not change size if you change your resolution. Fixed a bug where Party members' Tectonic Slam would never appear to be empowered on your climb even if you have consumed endurance charges. Fixed a bug where flasks of the same base type would override each other's duration display bar. Fixed a bug where Vagan's Scarab rewards didn't have the additional Scarab roll chest that all other Betrayal Scarab rewards have.
Ezt álltam, és mondom, hol a Legion Scarabom? És esett 2 darab Rustid a 3-as vagamból. Mondom, mi a fasz?
Fixed a bug where Haku would say the wrong lines at the right times. Fixed a bug which caused NPCs to not talk about Zana. Rude? Yes. That also fixes that dialogue option. Fixed a bug that which caused any the Hungry Loop unique wing which consumed Empower to provide too many additional levels. Igen, valami plusz sokat lehetett kiszedni. Fixed a bug where the Elder and Shaper added cold fire lightning damage to spells and attack modifiers were unaffected by catalyst quality. Fixed a bug where synthesis items could gain an implicit which increased the effect of socketed jewels when there was no way to socket any jewels into the item. Socketed jewel corruption on the socketless items like the Chaoms. Fixed a bug where Swift Affliction support could stack with its Awakened counterpart.
Ja, ez hallatos, ez nagyon kemény.
Fixed a bug where the Redeemer influence modifier which caused nearby enemies to be blinded would be disabled if you took the second sight keystone. Fixed a bug where certain monsters would turn invisible when raised inspected. Fixed a bug where characters with phasing would render behind tractiles in areas with traps, such as Pier Map. Fixed numerous cosmetic issues with effects clipping badly. Fixed many small seams and gaps in terrain throughout the game. Fixed flickering shadows in the battle-scarred hideout. I also thought my GPU was dying. Fixed a bug which caused this shot effect for arrow skills used by the duelist to appear on the wrong hand. Fixed a bug which caused the cliffs in the ledge to appear as one QA member put it, baby smooth.
Hogy kicsoda, ne haragudj!
One QA member. They don't exist. Fixed several bad interactions between illusionist body armor and wings cosmetics. Fixed a bug which caused passages which were meant to collapse in abyss area to not. But they also did, but they also didn't, but they do now. Borrowing the Crusader's small runes that match the terrain rather than sticking halfway through the stairs a lot of the time. Fixed the bug where the Eye of Malice and the Duelist and the Templar was more like the floating blob of malice. Fixed some typos in Prophecy quest trackers. Fixed several modifiers and were currently improving the Turbulent Catalyst quality. Fixed a bug which prevented Awakened Blasphemy support from having any cosmetic microtransactions applied to it. Fixed a bug where map bosses slain by Elder Guardians wouldn't drop Metamorph Organs. They still won't, but that's just because the Elder Guardians will instead. Fixed a bug where Salazang dropped Metamorph Organs twice. How was it able to survive after losing an organ? Thaumaturgy. Fix bad interactions between the Basilisk weapon effect and other weapon cosmetics. Fix the bug which caused the impact sound from one barrage to play at the wrong location. Fix the bug where Nihil forgot to put the Tolson power in his secondary bombs so they weren't exploding like they normally do. What a silly Enha. Fix the number of skips and exploits in the labyrinth. Fix the bug which causes shield cosmetic microtransactions to linger if you use shield charge. Fix the bug where Kirak could get stuck on his way into the Reliquary's vault. Fix the bug where some Delve bosses did not correctly use the environment to transition between phases. Remove the trail that was added to the Legion weapon effect after it was released. Sorry. Fix the bad interaction between the Void Emperor and Arcane weapon effects. Fix some boulders in the Ascent corrupted side area that you could walk through. Restored the Clockwork Fire Golem microtransaction back to its former brighter glory. Fix the bug where Drox the Warlord would keep his damage reduction effects longer than he should
and
have.
by longer, this
fight?
means all fight.
Yeah. Fix the bug that made Alhazmin's burrowing Vipers get very confused when there were multiple players. Those snakes are only used to being around Alhazmin. Fix the bug where the unholy trio could become invisible if you left and rejoined the area at just the right or wrong time. Fix the bug where shadows in the Celestial Nebula hideout would abruptly get cut off. Fix the bug where Veritania, the Redeemer, could invisibly use a skill if you hit her just before her dash. Fix the display bug for any AMD GPUs on the Celestial Nebula hideout. Fix...
Era.
Oh, Nebula.
Redeemer.
Fix the bug where some floor textures in a corrupted side area were missing. Fix the bug where the Vipers would linger after Alhazmin has died, or Alhazmin's defeat. Fix the bug which prevented you from firing a Void Shot from Void Fletcher if the triggering skill was supported by Aeronova. Fix possible desync during the Cyrus fight. Fix the bug where skitter bots were not being disabled by chains of command. Fix the bug where some Nova skills were not behaving correctly with Astral Projector. Fix the bug where monsters would not use their Cyclone skill unless you were a specific distance away. Fix the bug where you could only buy individual resonators from Lyco, which you should have been able to buy stacks. Fix the bug where weapons with focus summoned by chains of command would cause a client to crash. Fix the bug with some arrow skills which, when fired upwards, would leave the arrow model behind. Fix some issues with minion targeting when they were supported by Deathmark. Fix the bug if you used a skill while your cursor was over Cassia and you had been moving at the time, you would talk to her. Fix the bug in the Rock Collection counter where bandits could continuously fire arrows into the sky that never went away. Fix the bug where Mirage warriors created by the Savior would not attack your target if you were using a channeled ability such as Cyclone.
Istenem, ez olyan szép!
Fix the bug where critical hits from triggered skills such as Labyrinth Club enchantments could trigger the Savior's effect, creating a Mirage Warrior that did nothing. Now they are not creating for skills they cannot use. Fix the bug which caused Blast Range tooltip to not update with additional arrows. Fix the bug where the effects that would change the appearance of Frenzy Power and Endurance Charge would not work correctly if you had a source of minimum charges. Fix the bug where the Ray Spider skill tooltip from Arcali's Fang stated the spider's level was based on the level of the corpse they were raised from, one that was no longer the case. És még a felé hátra van. Fix the bug where sections that guaranteed the presence of certain shrine would spawn a random shrine and then replace it by the guaranteed shrine, but the effects of the initial shrine would remain. Fix the bug where Cyrus would leave his arena and wouldn't return. He will now return. Fix the bug that could allow players to attack Metamorphs from a safe distance without being targeted. Fix a very rare bug with Metamorphs could spawn a unique boss as one of its extra monsters. Fix the bug where the Blighted Ramparts map could have the Blight loot dropped in an inaccessible location. Fixed an issue where items awarded by the Gifts of the Red Queen and Gifts of the Sacred Sacrifice loot Strongboxes could get stuck in an inaccessible location. Fix a few crashes related to Aeronova. Fix a bug where the port map wouldn't drop Metamorph organs if all organs at the same time throughout the map had already been collected. I guess he thought you just didn't want his. Fix a bug where all full 5 ogres used to summon a Metamorph where from unique monsters that Metamorph wouldn't spawn any extra monsters. Really taking the unique thing too seriously. Fix the bug where cancelling a attack if an arrow was fired would still result in the arrow firing sound playing. Fix the bug where Blighted maps would consume Sextant users despite never granting the Sextant effect. Fix the bug where Fury Valve would appear to do nothing on the party member's client. Fix the bug where Anhire would lose his nerve just before the malformation boss room, causing you to go in alone. Anhire is very brave. Fix the bug where elemental hit wouldn't deal more damage to enemies afflicted with the alternate ailments Brittle, Scorch, and Stab.
Most.
Fix the bug where Transcendent Jewel hovers would not update passive skills. Fix the bug where if you leveled up while in the middle of Delve, Nico could dig his tunnel in a way that result in some very bad interactions. Fix the bug where a rare monster could fracture and those fractured monsters could have metamorph organs. Fix the bug where you could get stuck inside one of Cyrus's wall. Fix the bug. Fix some desync stuttering that could be caused by throwing the smoke mile while moving and then detonating. Nasty Schweif. Fix the bug where the buff granted by punishment was incorrectly affected by modifiers to the skill effect duration. Fix the bug which prevented the Great White Beast from the pits from being stunned from its charge if the distance was too short. Fix the bug where explosive arrows could linger on monsters after they had exploded if you were using predictive networking mode. Fix the bug where skills supported by Arrow Nova would still pick targets based on the player location and would cause projectiles to appear to travel further than they actually were. Fix the bug where volley supported the secondary projectiles of a tornado shot when it shouldn't have. Oh yeah. Enemies with that Eldritch Battery will no longer have their energy shield displayed on the further health bar since it isn't really relevant and can be quite misleading. Fix the bug that could cause ballista totems to magically float. Flying isn't planned until Battle Exile 6. Fix the bug which broke the capacity for Grandmasters in the whole of Grandmasters to use Cyclone.
Uh-oh.
Fix the bug where you couldn't see Navali's Act 5 introduction if you defeated Cyrus, preventing you from being able to complete the Olia's achievement in temporary leagues. Because I'm Sepan, by the way, last year. Fix the bug where the increased count tower range anointment didn't actually have an effect. Fix the rare crash caused by insanity. Appendix. Removed user shifty M&Ms. It will not return in a future patch. Get well soon. I'm not sure I understand what this is. I think it's shifty M&Ms implies it's a Reddit user, so I don't know what this means. Recently added. You should refresh the page. You should refresh the page. Gordian, refresh the page.
Igen.
Oh, physical tag.
Recently added. Animate weapon now has the physical tag. Animate weapon now animates a weapon in an area around where you are targeting. If you don't have a target, you don't have to target the specific item.
Pog.
And that concludes the patch notes.
Behetünk föl Redditre kommentet olvasni.
Hát, végtelen hála. Brit egy géniusz, vagy egy olvasó mester gyakorlatilag.
Igen, tehát én igazából...
Tehát, hogy ez igazából egy experience volt, ugye, tehát, hogy...
Nekem is, de a torkomnak, ha érted.
Nekem nem mond, én előtte 4 órán keresztül azékat daráltam végig, a notable-öket, és annyira örültem, hogy végre valaki beszél helyettem, azt hittem, hogy elmegy a hangom.
Hát én konkrétan érzem, hogy meghallgatom.
Köszönöm szépen, Brit, a hozzájárulásodat szeretném kérni, hogy felkerülj a YouTube csatornára.
Hát, nyugodtan.
De őszintén azzal együtt, hogy itt igaz az egyik, hogy azt, hogy a Death Harpot lenerfelték, és felbuffolták a rare búvokat, azért igazán beleférhetett volna, hogy a Reach of the Crown-et megcsinálják amúgy.
A kövi patch van majd.
Na, viszont akkor itt zárom a YouTube videót. Szervusztok srácok, jó játszásokat, és találkozunk egy következő videóban. Üssétek meg a csengét! Szóval csengőt. És mint mondottam, ott kezd elmenni a hangom.
Senkinek hívnak az anyukámat, tudom.
Nyomjátok meg a feliratkozás gombot, üssétek meg csengét, és mit tudom én, na